Hello, hello. It is day 10 of our Advent extravaganza, and I'm here this evening after a busy, busy day working on finishing up all those little things that you never get finished and they pile up, especially when you're making videos every day. Um, so tonight I'm going to Bunco. I was going to try and wear this dress that I'm working on. I don't think I'm going to make it, but hopefully I'll have it ready for tomorrow night when we go out to dinner with friends. Um, I have played Bunco for probably 15 years with the same group of gals, maybe 12. I don't know. It's been a long time. And every Christmas we do a gift exchange and bring treats and, just visit for the evening. We're all vaccinated. We're all, safe and all that. So it's weird these last 2 years. Like last year and the year before, no Bunko. We didn't do it at all. We'd visit on Zoom a little bit. And this is in the last few months, we've started going to Bunko again in person and playing the game and trying to go outside as much as possible. But tonight we're doing Christmas, so hopefully, fingers crossed, nobody's got the new variant. I also today have been dyeing, so I got a request by phone for some red and green, and I'm quickly trying to get ready for that. So I've got red here. This is the best red in the fleece. I also got some maroons and some hot pinks, so I've got that. And it's all drying. It's all wet. I've got green in the hopper right now, so I'm doing the green right now, and it's way wet, so I can't show you. This is the PCC yarn in red. This is the PCC yarn in maroon. Because and then here's an exhaust skein that's sort of a pink tie-dye. It's more of a rosy tie-dye. But these are all drying over the furnace because drying in the winter in your house is a little more difficult than drying in the summer out in the yard. But yeah, it's been fun. I like dyeing. My technique is to try and refill my kettle as infrequently as possible. So my favorite is the electric frying pan. And if you ever find an electric frying pan at a Goodwill or something, snag it because they're great for dyeing yarn in my slow yarn, leisurely way. I happen to have a couple of turkey roasters that a friend of mine gave me. One of the turkey roasters is rusty, so it's no longer in commission, but I still have the second one in good shape. So I'm a one vat dyer, slow. I'm actually producing quite a bit more yarn than I thought because I'm fitting like 5 or 6 in those vats. So that part's working out well this time. I've never been brave enough. I've always just stuck to about 3. So that's been happening today as I run back and forth to the backyard. I also have been working on the Santa dress, and I will turn this right side out for you. I'm working on the back side right now. What I did is take my measurements from scratch and create a pattern. Now, it sounds harder than it is. The first dress or the first item that you draft is a shirt. The second item that you draft is a skirt. And if you want a sheath dress, you attach your skirt to your shirt. And so I walked into Joann's, the big bad word, not sponsored, but it is the closest fabric store to me. And I was looking at their Christmas fabric and I saw this awesome 1950s, maybe early 60s Santa fabric and fell for it and decided that I needed what they term an ugly Christmas dress, even though I don't think it's ugly. I like my Santa dress. So I have made this using my own measurements. I have been wanting to make a dress using my own measurements from the beginning. If those of you that have been around the YouTube channel for Morning Coffee kind of hung out with me while I talked about making the green dress. The green dress, I took apart a dress that I liked, and then I used that pattern to create the green dress. It fits, but it's a little big in the waist, and I didn't find it as flattering as the original. Now this one does that because, of course, it's my perfect measurements, right? It nips in at my waist where my waist is its smallest. The darts are built perfectly for my droopy boobs, the whole deal. So I'm loving this. I made 2 mock-ups. My first mock-up was too tight. Oh, look at my red fingers. My first mock-up was too tight, but fit me perfectly. So I learned, except in the armpits, it was a bit baggy in the armpits. So I re-put in the front dart in the armpits, and then I added a 1/4 inch to my side seams. Why, you ask, a 1/4 inch? Even my husband asked that. Because that would get me an extra inch all the way around. No, actually, I think I did a 1/2 inch and got 2 inches all the way around. Anyway, then I made a second mock-up, tried it on, and other than it being on the short side, because I didn't attempt to do the full length of the skirt on that, it fit beautifully. Like nipped in at the back, didn't go hiking up at the back. The darts nailed my back curve perfectly. I have some darts back on my back shoulders. It helped get me my little hump built in. The armpits were nice with the front darts. So I then used that pattern marked up and very carefully cut out my Santa fabric and some white muslin or white quilt fabric, because these are both quilt fabrics, some white fabric to line it with. I cut out 2 copies of the dress using each fabric. Then I carefully, and I cut those 2 pieces of fabric out at exactly the same time. So I laid my white one down, I laid my Santa fabric down so that they were identically shaped and sized. Then I carefully laid out my pattern and marked all my darts and marked my seam allowances, even though I put them into the pattern and I put a 1/2 inch seam allowance in. I was careful because on the neckline I hadn't put the seam allowance in and the armholes I hadn't, so I had to add that. And then I sat down at my sewing. Well, actually I came downstairs last night and I hand sewed all the darts up. And then this morning when I got up, I went to my sewing machine, and I'll put some pictures of me sewing on my beautiful, I have a 222 featherweight, and I took it for its maiden voyage this morning, and boy, it was good. It sews nice. So I sewed my side seams, my shoulder seams on both dresses, because essentially I'm sewing 2 dresses and then I'm sliding one into the other. So I did all that. And then ironed the seam allowance open using my hams because of my hip curve. That hip goes in, and for the darts. And then I took them to the sewing machine again, and on the machine, right sides together, sewed my lining fabric to my neck at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then I came downstairs and I top stitched with a running stitch. And why this, you ask? Well, all the fancy suits that you get made for you custom, the top stitching is hand stitching. So I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go for that flair. So I did that. I top stitched around the opening of the neck. And then I, using my invisible stitch, folded in each side and stitched around each armhole by hand and top stitched, and then went back and top stitched around it by hand. Now all that remains is, oh, and then I've just done this. I've done the back seam, and I could have taken this up to my machine, but I really like to hand sew. Can you tell? And I stitched down where the zipper insert is for the lining and for the Santa Claus fabric. Now what I'm going to do is pin in my zipper and sew my zipper in on the Santa Claus fabric, and then I will blind stitch down my lining over that, attaching it. So the lining will be attached in the armhole, the neckline, and down my back on the zipper. The rest of it will float free. And then what will remain is, all I'll need to do with this is hem it. And then I will have my dress ready to wear out, probably for dinner tomorrow night, because it's 6:00 p.m. right now, and I need to leave at 7:15. And I haven't wrapped the little gift exchange we do, and I have not prepared my food. Well, I have. I've made food. We'll talk about food here in a minute. I have to prep all that stuff, so not likely to finish the dress tonight. I tried, but I took too long doing other things. Always, when you stitch by hand, it always takes twice as long. And this hem is just not going to happen until I get the zipper in. So anyway, but it's been fun, and I'm glad to have this dress finally together. What do you think? Do you think Santa Claus is a little too big of a print for me? I love him. I love my Santa dress. I'm going to have to come up with reasons to wear it out. I'll just wear it every day. I will definitely wear it on camera for you tomorrow, okay? Now, food. Let's talk about food. What do you do? What do you do when you've got to go to a social event? I know it's been so long, right? Who remembers a social event? Actually, here, let me take my glasses off. I can't see the camera at all, but at least you won't see the glare. What do you do when you go to a social event at the holiday time? Do you have stuff stashed? Do you bake ahead? I'm gonna confess something here. I'm not willing to bring my shortbread to the party because I don't want to share it. I loves it. So the shortbread's staying here. Besides, it's not super attractive anyway. So I have a secret weapon, and Tony and I found it at Williams and Sonoma. It's a gluten-free bread kits. And they wouldn't be hard to do from scratch, but it's just nice to have those in the fridge or in the cupboard ready to go, right? So I baked in my loaf pans a gingerbread and a coffee cake. And it's like, what did we add? So it's the mix, it's a stick of butter. Yeah, basically a stick of butter, 2 eggs, and a cup of liquid of some form or another. And they vary, like the coffee cake had you add in sour cream, and the gingerbread just had you add in the milk. So mix and match. But, and I'm going to give you a secret, I put in squash. I put in squash instead of sour cream. We'll see how that turns out. I think it'll be good. Anyway, so I made these 2 breads, and that's what I'm taking to Bunco. Took an hour. It took 5 minutes to mix up, and then it took an hour, 50 minutes in the oven. So that was quick, and I managed to work on my dress, bake my bread, and go out and check on my yarn all at the same time, and got through all these yarns that are now drying all over the house. I have some hanging in the downstairs shower. I have some hanging on the towel bar in the downstairs bathroom. I have some draped over a stool next to the heater by the back door with a towel underneath. I have some sitting in the sink in a tub cooling down. And then I have 5 skeins in the vat cooking. Well, they're done cooking. They're cooling now. So that's been my day. Sorry, no instruction today. We'll get you another cookie recipe maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll wear my dress with an apron and cook some cookies. Anyway, I think another cookie video definitely is coming, as is what we've only got 3 of the embroidered ornaments done, and I have 12. So we've got that coming as well. Anyway, yep, that's today. It's all there is. I could show you though. You know, when I said that that I needed greenery for the my Christmas tree to hang my ornaments from. Well, there was leftover branches, and all I did is chop them up, stuff them in this piece of pottery that I have that I think actually this came from back east. I think my mom got it for me, actually. Brought it back. It's a hand-thrown pot from one of the historic museums back east. And it does not, I can't put water in it. I can only put in things dry. So I put in the greenery, and then I just love, all they are is styrofoam birds. And I also have them on my Christmas tree, my Advent tree. But they're just little cheapy styrofoam birds from the craft store with clips. But they look so cute, don't they? They look so cute that I ordered some more. So there's those 2 in my little branches, and they're just sitting next to my fireplace, giving us a little festive smell and cheer. And, you know, easy to disperse greenery. I first learned to disperse greenery because of David's mom. She does that. She goes out and picks all the stuff that's still green in her yard and then spreads it all over her house, in windowsills, on the mantle, on above her china closet. It's really nice. So anyway, that's it. Just doing odds and ends today. I hope you're having a great Advent. I hope you're going to some parties, but safely, right? And definitely leave me a comment. I would love to answer. I answer all of them. We have been growing, and I definitely want to thank all of you that are following following our YouTube channel. Fingers crossed we get to 1,000 soon. I hope so. Anyway, you can help us get there by subscribing to the channel, by ringing the bell, by commenting, and by liking any of the videos that you do like. I would like to keep doing this YouTube for a long time. I find it fun, and I love running the store, and I love doing all the stuff that I do for the yarn store, but I really like making YouTube videos and giving you content that to teach you stuff, to talk about what's going on, to help entertain you, whatever it takes, right? So anyway, yeah, definitely help us out and tell your friends. Of course, we'd love to have more. Bye.